Now, I have been commenting on Mungiki since the year 2002. In fact, on January 7th, I wrote something which I had a friend of mine who went and passed it on to the permanent secretary who was in charge of internal security. But my position is this, to the center of the Nairobi. And you know what, some of the interesting things, there's a Luo woman, a grandmother, stood up and said, I support Mungiki. They should be in my community. And of course people were shocked. They said, why? I said, you know, before Mungiki came, people were just breaking into people's houses. We were very disorganized. The cops were extorting things from us. I don't necessarily like what they're doing, but they've changed my life. This is somebody, you don't expect that. Huh? And so there is that, also that Mungiki, which people associate with community defense. Whatever you think of Mungiki, there are people out there who are not Kikuyus, who are supporting Mungiki because of what Mungiki has done in their communities. I'm telling you this because I saw those people. They were covered on television. Then there is the Mungiki which owns houses in Karen and in Kitengela. There's the Mungiki which went to Njenga Karume's home and oathed a few cabinet ministers. And there are people, I've been told by some people who have been there. There's also another Mungiki which is trying to move away from Mungiki. There's some young people in Kenya, and I've met some of them. I have to go on the record, even if whatever I've said it in public. Met people who said we used to be in Mungiki, but we are transforming ourselves into something they're calling the Kenya National Youth Alliance, because we see ourselves as a political force. We see ourselves as the descendants of the Mau Mau. We are against, and that's why you're seeing that a lot of the struggles are in Central Province. People say it's a tribal organization, but you're not hearing Kikuyu is going to kill Turkanas. With all that you're saying. So there's so many aspects. But what is happening? There's also what is happening with the government, who may have created a second Mungiki, like a Komerera Mungiki, which is doing the bidding of certain people because this is an election year. But the fear that some of us have, that whichever branch of this Hydra-headed organism that people call Mungiki, the fear is that there is a real possibility that the main tendency could turn out to be something like what was in Sierra Leone, the Revolutionary United Front, which has political rhetoric, but is a criminal organization which kills people and rapes women and abducts children. That possibility is very, very real. Some of us have argued that if you are trying to kill Mungiki by killing people who are supposed to be, you're not going to succeed. What's going to happen is what happened, and I don't want to conflate the Mau Mau with the Mungiki, but just a natural reaction will be, is that young people who are being targeted for being Mungiki and they're not Mungiki, you know what they'll say? I better be a real Mungiki.
Like the latest massacre.
Yeah, I better be a real Mungiki, so that if I'm being killed, at least I can say that I belong to Mungiki. I can be proud that I also did that. What the government is doing through these massacres is driving a lot of people who actually fear Mungiki very much into the hands and the arms of Mungiki. And some of us are saying, because when I said that the government should sit down with Mungiki, I was not being facetious. The government knows the leaders of Mungiki because some of them are working with Mungiki, some of them are Mungiki. So, but these people, if you talk to some of those young people who have gone to, because I've spoken to them, I live in Nairobi, and they said, you know, we are sitting, there's another friend of mine who is not even a Kikuyu, but because he had dreadlocks, and because he lives in Mathare, and because, you know, now sometimes Kenyans, you can't really tell by looking at somebody and look at the ethnicity. He was beaten to within an inch of his life. We Mungiki we tutakuwa. So the only thing which saved him, in this kind it was an ethnic thing. You had to prove that he's not a Kikuyu. How about the Kikuyus who are innocent and are being beaten to death because they happen to be young Kikuyus who they fit the, you know, people talk about racial profiling in the West. This is tribal profiling. And we cannot be happy applauding the police because yesterday they killed 27 people and we feel safe. Innocent people being killed, and we feel safe because we believe the police version. First of all,
But that was genocide. It has never happened. There is ETA guerrillas. They have never done that. Irish Republican Army.
Yes.
They have never done that.
Yeah, so now you may find that even the way Mungiki is supposed to operate you will not find 25 of them in one place.
Together.
They would probably be operating in a cell structure, 3 or 4 people. So when you hear they have killed 25 people, you should suspect that information. And what some of us are saying is that in the interest of feeling safe, we should not condone state violence. Because the next time you're going to hear, you're happy that Mungiki have been killed until you get a call from the mortuary that it was your cousin who was killed. A schoolboy, 10 years old, was killed. He was going to buy bread.
Was he Mungiki?
So I'm just saying that at the same time, we cannot condone any criminal acts. Huh? If people commit murder, they should be arrested and tried for murder. But they should be arrested and given due process. The police should not be the executioners and the judges. If somebody is kidnapped somebody, if somebody has raped somebody, there's a criminal procedure code in our country. They should be tried as criminal suspects, taken through the process. If they are found guilty, that there are laws of the country which deal with murder, which deals with rape, and they should be accorded the due process. Filling committee and industrial area full of people just because you want people in the country to think that you are doing a good job. It's not taking, because in the meantime, the people who are actually working with me are continuing their actions. And it is a diversion. So what some of us are saying is that we can adopt this chest thumping machismo. Let's go out there and kick some ass. It doesn't work. Let us look at the reasons. What are the recruiting grounds? I'm just expressing an opinion. I don't think that is shared by everybody. What I'm trying to say is that we have to engage people talk about how can you negotiate with, let's even use the worst one. These are terrorists, these are killers. You know what's happening now? The Ugandan government, after almost how many years? 20 years, are now talking to who? Kony.
To Kony.
And Kony, what was Kony doing? Kony was abducting children, was killing people in all kinds of ways. But why are they talking now? Because the government has realized that you cannot kill the Lord's Resistance Army just by, going to northern Uganda and, doing all kinds of atrocities. So what some of us are saying, and it is a controversial position, but we are saying, let us fast forward to the future. Do we want Mungiki, which is now at its worst, is a criminal gang which has killed people, to morph into a well-funded, well-armed group, a militia, which will probably carve out Murang'a or a certain part of Nairobi, where they now, leave alone demanding 200 shillings. They will be saying to people, if you have a house, we need X amount. It could get worse. And there are politicians who are waiting to exploit that position. And so for me, there are two ways of dealing with it. There are the criminal acts, which are associated with Mungiki. Those people who are suspected to have committed those criminal acts should be charged to the full extent of the law. The social issues which has created this recruiting, this breeding ground for Mungiki members, people have to ask, why do so many young people? Because there are thousands of people who are in Mungiki. Why are all these people joining Mungiki? For what reason? What are the social reasons? What are the political reasons? And how can they be recruited away? And you see, for me, I don't expect the government to do something here.
Excuse us, sir.
Yeah. Okay. So sorry, you have to leave. But
Okay.
Thank you for being here. So what I'm trying to say is that it is our task, those of us who have been involved in political work, those same young people are available also to us. Can we give them reasons to aim higher? To see that you can do something with your life apart from being a member of a criminal gang who can be sent anytime to go and behead somebody. Our government has failed us to the extent that the Minister for Internal Security, the Minister for Defense, and maybe even the Minister, there are some people who are either have been talking to Mungiki, are in Mungiki, or condone Mungiki activities. So obviously, if the people in charge of internal security and national defense are in bed with Mungiki, how can you expect solutions to come from there?